Hello soulmates, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to draft a peplum skirt. Now this fabric I've used in my last video. I used it to draft a box pleat skirt. If you have not seen that, you could check it out. I'll put the link in the description box for you to find it. This project, you're going to divide the biggest part of your body measurement. In this case, the biggest part of my body measurement is my hip. So that is what I'll be using to put my fabric on fold. So you're going to divide your hip by 4, and then you're going to add 2 inches more for seam allowance or for ease, it depends. So here I have my fabric. The front is folded in 2, and the back is also folded in 2. Okay, but the back is 1 inch larger than the front. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need to do is that you're going to start with your straight line. So I started here with a straight line. So from that line, I want a band height of about 2 inches. So I'm going to take away that measurement from the measurement that I have. And from that point, I'm going to take my hip line, which is about 8 inches. And then I'm going to take the length of my waist, from my waist to my 3 inches above my knee, which is about 19.5 inches or 19 inches, and I'm going to make it 20 inches. So I'm going to make it 19.5 and 20 inches for half an inch for joining the peplum to the skirt. So I'm going to make this into a straight line. And I'm drafting the back and the front together. So at my waist, I'm going to take my quarter of my waist measurement, which is, my waist is 34, a quarter of that is 8.5. So I'm going to put 9.5 because I want a 1 inch dart plus 1 inch to sew it together. So at my dart, I'm going to put my bust point to bust point measurement, and that is going to be 8 inches. So half of that is 4 inches. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna put the same thing at the hip, 4 inches, and I'm going to square this line up. Now I'm going to take my dart. So here I'm going to take a dart of 1 inch. Okay, and from my waist, for the front, I'm going to go up 2 inches. For the back, I'm going to go down 1 inch. But since I'm drafting on both of the back and the front, I just make a note there that that's where I should stop, so that I could mark it at the back. And I'm going to connect those. So now when you do that, you're going to impute your hip measurement. My hip is 43. Quarter 43 is 10.75, and I'm not going to put any seam allowance there. So 10.75, and I'm going to put 1 inch seam for sewing allowance, and then I'm going to connect that with my curved ruler. So I'm connecting that. So if you have watched my previous videos, I always tell you to go down 1 inch from your hip line, or 1.5 inch, okay, before you start to curve your. So I'm gonna go down here about 1.5 inch. It just let your skirt fit you much better. Okay, so from there now, at the end of my skirt, here I have 10.75, I'm going to put 9.75. I took away 1 inch from that, plus 1 inch seam allowance. And then I'm now going to connect that line right here. Okay, so now I have my front and my back. Remember, my front and my back is drafted on the same line. So now at my waist, I'm going to add my seam allowance. I'm going to go up 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's my joining seam allowance to join my waistband, and I'm going to connect it right there. Okay, so that's what you're going to have. Remember to always put your dart. So I'm gonna draw my dart here at my back so I know where to stop. Okay, I'm also gonna do it on this point. Okay, so I know when I'm sewing, that's where I'm supposed to draw my dart. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to cut this out. Okay, so this is what you have. I'm going to now cut it out. Sure that they're correct, then you cut it out. So there you have it. That's the main part of your skirt. Remember to always notch this area for your darts, not too deep, because remember you only have 1/2 inch allowance. And I'm going to put my mark for my front also here on the front. Okay, so how do I go about sure that this is correct? Okay, there you go. So how you go about calculating the peplock? Okay, so for the peplum part, you're going to take the measurement from here. Okay, so here I have 9.75. remember that I folded in 4, so you're going to multiply. Okay, you're going to multiply 9.75. so let me just write that for you, for those who can't see the calculator. So here I have, put that aside, the end of that is 9.75. You're going to multiply that by 4, and that's going to give you 39 inches. But then, because I want to send the peplum to the back of the skirt and make 1 full stitch down, I have to add this 1 inch to it. So plus 1 inch, okay, that's going to give me 40 inches. So this 40 inches, now you're going to divide it by 6.28 to get your radius. Okay, remember I showed you how to calculate radius. So now you're going to divide this by 6.28. You're going to get 6.21. You can approximate it to 6.25. Okay, so let me go over this at the end of my, you're going to take the measurement at the end, because remember you're going to close up the seam allowance here, right? So you're concentrating on this part only. So you're going to take the measurement from here to the center point, that's 9.75. You're going to multiply that by 4, as I did here, and I get 39. So 9.75 times 4 is 39. Then you're going to add this 1 inch for the zipper, which is 40. Divide that, you're going to get 6.25. So that's gonna be your radius. Okay, so let me put this aside and let's work on the peplum part of it. I wanted a skirt length of about 28 inches. So remember, from here to the length of this, remember we took off 2 inches for the band, right? So the length of this was 19.5 inches. So now you're going to subtract 28 minus 19.5, me 8.5. So the rest of my skirt is going to be 8.5. So the length, plus I have to add this 6.5 to the 8.5. So I'm gonna round it off to 9 inches, okay? So 9 inches plus this 6.25, total about 15 inches or so. But if you don't want your skirt to be that long, that's fine. Maybe I'll just reduce it to 27 inches. So I'm minusing 1. That's going to give me 14.25. Okay? So ensure now, so now that you're going to, so remember this is gonna be 2 flares, right? So I'm gonna make one 8 inches and I'm gonna make one 4 inches. I hope you understand what I just did. So my skirt, the end of it, I want it to be about 27 inches long. So that means I will have to have about 8.5 or 7.5 there. So what I'm going to do, so this is the first piece of my, this is going to be the first piece of my skirt. So here I folded it into 4, because remember we're folding a full circle now. So this is folded into 4. So what I did, I have my fabric, I folded into 2, and then I folded it one more time into 4. So what you're going to do, remember our radius is 6.25, right? 0.25, which is my radius, plus the length of the skirt that I want, which is about 8 inches more. So that's going to be 10.25. So that's for the long flare. For the short flare, you're going to have 6.25 plus 4 inches, and that's going to be 10.25. So I'm going to cut one 14.25 and the other 10.25. Okay, so here I have my fabric folded, and I'm going to take my 14, okay, 0.25 all the way around. So I have 14 inches here. I don't have 14.25. That's okay. Okay. So you're taking your 14 all the way around. This is at the edge. And you're going to connect those points, okay? You're going to connect those 2 points. Then you're going to take your radius now, which is 6.25, which is here. This is my radius, okay? So now remember that you're going to need seam allowance to join it to the top half, okay? So you put your 1/2 inch seam allowance to join it at the top, and then you connect all those lines. So what you're going to do now is cut it out. This also. So this is the larger flare. And now this is going to be the shorter flare. So what I'll do, I'll just take this, put it on top to get my radius. Okay, it's folded in 4 just like this one. It's folded in 4 just like this one. Okay, and I'm going to mark this all the way around. So I'm marking this. I'm going to cut it out, because remember this is at the, with the seam allowance, so you don't have to add seam allowance. I just use the other one to cut it. Now I'm going to take the length, which is 4, or I'll do 4.5 or 5. I'll do 5 since I have enough. And I'm going to cut this out. So now that you have this, you're going to slit open one of the sides, because remember we're sending it into the back of the skirt. Okay, so you slit it open, so you're gonna have this. You do the same for the other side. Slit open one. So there you're going to have this. Okay, so you're gonna have a double flare. Okay, so we have the main bodice, or the main part of the skirt. You have your flare, which is this here. This is your flare part. Okay, all you have to do is put it together, and then so this is my waistband. I already went ahead and I cut out my waistband. Put this aside. So this is the waistband that you're going to attach. Remember to cut your waistband. So you want a waistband of 2 inches. You're going to cut 5 inches high. Okay, unfold. So I made it 6 inches because I want mine slightly bit high-waisted. So you determine how broad you want your waistband to be, and to the length of your waist plus added seam allowance. So this is the essence of the Peplum skirt. So there you have it, guys. If you find this video helpful, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the post notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I make a video. Until I sew this baby up, I will see you in my next one.